In today's video, I'm going to show you how to swap out the thumbsticks on a PlayStation 5 controller that is having stick drift. Stick drift is caused when the potentiometers on your thumbsticks don't work, so we're going to be installing the Hall effect sticks in here. So first off, you want to just use a plastic spudger, pull off the little black PlayStation front panel thing, and then you are going to pop out the L1 and R1 button. Be very soft and gentle and don't tear the plastic. After that, you are going to find 4 Phillips head screws that are pretty small, and you're going ahead and take all 4 of those out. So there's one behind each of those L1 and R1 buttons, as well as one at the bottom of the controllers where the handles are. Once you pull all 4 of those out, you are good to go ahead and unlatch 2 of the plastic latches on the front here, and then you're just going to slowly pry the controller apart. It's going to give a little bit of resistance, but that is just because of all the tabs holding it together. So I just go back and forth between the handles and just pry until eventually the controller pulls apart. Like I said, you don't want to pull crazy hard, but like there is going to be some resistance, so you're going to have to pull a little bit. And then just keep working it until it slowly pulls apart, because you do not want to bust your controllers. Once you get it apart like that, it now reveals the bottom of the controller. We're going to go ahead and remove the battery. Just pulls out, and then this there is a ribbon cable at the bottom that this black thing is attached to, and we are going to then take the battery housing out. It has 1 screw in the middle, also a Phillips head. And then once that is out, you can remove the cable, revealing there's going to be 4 more ribbon cables you need to remove. The one at the bottom that I'm unlatching there. You've got the 2 where the triggers plug in, and then you also have the one at the very top, which I will pull apart a little bit later. I'm going to go ahead and desolder the rumble motors first. And if you forget, black is on top, red is on bottom. Once those are disassembled, as I'm showing that ribbon cable there, go ahead and pull that out. And then after you have everything detached, what I like to do is just push on the thumbsticks from the bottom, and then the board will just pop up, because there is nothing else keeping it in there. So go ahead and just push a little bit. It takes a little bit of, a little bit of effort to get it to pop out. But once it does, the board is removed, and that is what we need to work on. Nothing else. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the thumbsticks as well. And then what I have, and this has been like the best thing for me, is I have a clamp that I can put all of my PCB boards in there. And then, you push it together, and it gets pretty wide too. It's probably like 10 inches or so, but it works perfect for these controller boards. Then I also like to put just a little bit of heat-resistant tape over some of the plastics, because I am going to be using a heat gun. But before we get to the heat, I like to put flux on all of these different parts of the thumbstick, and then I go through and I add more solder, because the lead-free solder that these come stock with is, you have to use a lot of heat to get them to melt. So when you add lead solder in there, they just melt a little bit faster, a little bit easier, and it makes heating them up so that I don't have to have the heat gun on for very long. But what I like to do is I just run the heat gun, and then I just go, you can't see it because my hand blocks it, but I just go in small circles around the entirety of the thumbstick. And then I just have a pair of pliers that I'm gently pulling down till they eventually come out. And once you get both thumbsticks out, I go ahead and clean the holes. There's a few different ways. I'm going to show you different ones. This is where I use a solder sucker and then my soldering iron to poke one side and then suck the solder out from the other. But you can also use a solder wick too. I just wanted to show different ways that you can use or different ways to get the solder out, because sometimes it's kind of a pain to get them out of the holes. Then I like to go ahead and clean the PCB boards with some alcohol and get ready for the thumbstick installation, because I like them to be inserted really easy. I also let the board cool down because I don't want to melt the new thumbsticks that I put in. So once it's cooled down and cleaned, I can go ahead and put the new thumbsticks in. You want to make sure you put them on the right side, obviously. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some more flux to these 2 thumbsticks. Flux is your best friend when soldering, so make sure you have flux. And I like to use a lot of it because it just makes solder flow. So after that, I go ahead and I just solder all of the different parts in together on both thumbsticks. Pretty simple. You know, it's not a super hard, crazy fix. The hardest part with this is probably just doing your first one. Can be a little overwhelming, but after you've done hundreds like I have, it's pretty easy. And honestly, if I can do it, anybody can. It's really not that difficult. So once you get everything all soldered in, ready to go, what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you how to calibrate the thumbsticks. Honestly, this may be one of the more tricky parts, but it's easier, I've found, to calibrate the PS5 controllers than it is for the Xbox controllers, just because I can have the board out like this. But you will need the battery installed. So when you see me go back to my computer to test and calibrate these, I have the battery plugged in as well. Otherwise, the controller will not power on when you plug it directly into your PC. But then I also use a website called Gamepad Tester. So those two things, you need the battery and then Gamepad Tester when you plug into your PC. So when you calibrate these PlayStation 5 controllers, you have to have the battery in or it won't register. So I just use Gamepad Tester. It's just a website. After you plug it in, it should connect. And then you can see here where I need to calibrate it. So this is your x-axis, this is your left and right, and then the one on the side is your y-axis, the up and down. So on this right stick, I need to bring it down, so I'm going to turn it sideways, and whatever way you want it to go, that's the way that you're going to pull the stick. So if you want it to go down, you pull down, and then you're going to stick it in one of the holes, and then pull it back just a hair. You need to go down just a little more. That's pretty good. Now we're going to do the x-axis. So I need it to go over to the left. A little more. That's too much. That's too much again. That's pretty good. I'm going to make it go down just a hair more. Yep, it's pretty good, almost centered. Now with the left stick, we just need to go left a little bit. So pull to the left, stick a needle in one of the holes, move it just a hair. That's pretty good. So with these sticks too, these Hall Effects ones, when you plug them in, they will jitter like this. That's just how they are. Doesn't matter, doesn't mean anything. So that's how you calibrate them. After you get them calibrated, go ahead and put your thumbsticks back on. Don't forget this part. I also unplugged the battery, obviously, but you need the thumbsticks on first and then go ahead and reinsert them back into the controller. Just make sure you don't pinch any of the ribbon cables or the rumble motor wires. Once you get everything all situated, you can go ahead and plug in all the ribbon cables. The two thumbstick, or the two trigger ones. Then you've got the one on the top, and then you've got two on bottom. But then I'm going to go ahead and resolder these as well. Remember, black wire is on top, red is on bottom. Once you get those soldered back together, we're going to go ahead and take the battery housing, put that back on. Remember, there is a ribbon cable on the battery housing. Make sure you plug that back in, plug the battery back in, and then we're going to go ahead and close this baby up. Once you get the shell back on, have it snap into place. Make sure everything feels good, all the buttons feel good, everything feels like it is where it should be. And you shouldn't have to put pressure to get these to come back together. Like, it should just come back together pretty easily. So after that, go ahead and put your 4 screws in, your L1, your R1, and then put your black PlayStation cover over the top. Snap it in, and that is it. That is how you fix PlayStation 5 Controller Stick Drift, hopefully permanently, with these Hall Effects joysticks. Thank you for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. If you want to purchase the controller that you saw in this video, you can. It is on our eBay page. I will leave a link in the description, as well as many other controllers that you can buy, not just this one. So if you guys, like I said, want to purchase these, click the link down below. It supports us, it supports the channel, supports what we do. And if you're interested in submitting your repairs to us to try and fix, if you have retro consoles or controllers that you want to fix, or if you want a Hall Effects stick upgrade, get a hold of us. You can message us on eBay or through YouTube, or our email is linked down below as well. So you can get a hold of us and we can do your repairs as well. So if you have any other questions, like I said, leave them in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, we will see you in the next one.